Welcome to TC and the Wolf, a brand new podcast featuring the Reverend Tom Chandler, a talented but slightly disgruntled music producer, and Nick Wolf, a singer, songwriter, and technology wizard. Important note, everything we say here is a joke and only for entertainment purposes. Do not take this seriously. The opinions expressed do not represent the views of anyone else or any companies we may be affiliated with. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and share. And as always, drink responsibly and make sure to tip your waiters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TC and the Wolf. I am the Reverend Tom Chandler. To my right, possibly your left, is the amazing and fascinating Nick Wolf.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that introduction.
So, feedback. We've gotten a lot of feedback about the table, how some people didn't like the table, and we got equal amount of feedback about people who wanted to see us on the couch in a more relaxed atmosphere. So, after this week, please let us know what the fuck we're doing, because it's equally just a pain in the ass to set shit up. I mean,
it's the people's choice.
Yeah, people's choice. Everybody vote. When we put this fucking video up, let us know whether you want the table here to look like a pro podcast or whatever, or if you like it more laid back like Andrew Schultz, and we're doing it this way, you know.
I mean, for today, I'm feeling pretty good about the laid back approach.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
We're going into holiday weekend. We're trying to relax.
Yep, it's Thanks fucking Giving, which means we're about to be inundated by one of my nightmares, which is Christmas music.
Mariah Carey?
For the next fucking month, it's Mariah Carey, Michael Bubble, or Blue Blay, or whatever his fucking name is. Just a bunch of bullshit that's like, you know, I'm down with the Christmas classics. Like, I'm down with the most wonderful time of the year. I'm even down with the Mariah song, to be real. Like, it's good. It's like a Phil Spector type Christmas tune. I'm into it. What I'm not into is dogs barking fucking jingle bells at Walmart, and there's a bunch of shitty Christmas music for real, dude, coming at us.
You know, that Paul McCartney Christmas song, I mean, I heard it before I knew it was Paul McCartney, like in an Old Navy or something.
That is the most annoying Christmas song possibly of all time.
This is like going to the dentist or something. Like, honestly, it is the antithesis of music. When I learned it was Paul McCartney, I gave it a little more credence because, you know, he's a legend and he's done a lot of good shit.
I think they were going for like a Philip Glass 80s like minimalism with that, because it's based upon like the delay of the keyboard of the Rhodes. It's all ding, 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 ding. Basically, that's, you see
that part I like, actually.
Okay.
That part I like.
It's just an annoying song, though, that doesn't really develop or go anywhere.
What's the main line? I'm tripping.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Which is annoying in its own right.
I mean, the fact that it starts off with like simply, it's just
Nick,
so
you need to
dumb.
move into the fucking microphone. God damn it.
He is a producer, ladies and gentlemen. You see how he did that? He's looking out for me.
This is what I do. I want you to sound good. You're like, why don't I sound good? Why don't I sound good? That's what's going on.
We need gobs of gain on this bitch so I can lean back.
It just needs to gush. But no, we're coming into a time of year where I find the holidays difficult. How do you find them?
Mixed. There's some really high highs and there's usually some pretty low lows, frankly.
Okay, so what's the high for you?
Well, so you and I, Tom, worked on this John Lennon Christmas song, Happy Xmas.
War is over. Yep.
And I'm using this as an example because, like, to me, that song was the quintessential vibe of the season. For me, anyways. Mm-hmm. It's a little melancholy. It's a little hopeful, right? Mm-hmm. And each year when I would hear that song come around whatever, early December or something, and then when it would hit around actual Christmas, that felt legit. It feels timeless. It feels classic. It feels like I really give a shit about the people around me. I love them. I want them to succeed. And we all should have some hope for the new year. You know what I mean? And by the way, thank you for working on that track with me. It
came out really good.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama related to that.
That's another topic.
Jesus
Should we
Christ.
talk about
Let's
that?
talk about it. Let's get into it. So this was interesting. So this was a couple years ago. I was still on PC format, which I do not recommend for recording anymore. It worked for me for like 15 years or whatever. But what happened was I had started working on Nick's song. We had done a bunch of work on it. And we were pretty much just to like the end of the mix even.
We had a couple like rough mixes.
Yeah,
and we were getting there.
We were getting there, and then I came back to my computer, and I just got a black screen. I had nothing, and thank God I had backed up the song. But we were basically within a few days of Christmas when we were going to deliver the song, right? And I had to find somebody locally, which luckily I found a guy that I went all the way down to Laguna Beach and was able to load up the project, export it, put it on a different computer. But it had to be somebody that had the same version of Cubase that I had. It had to be somebody that had, a similar setup, the whole 9 yards. And I drove down
How
there.
did you find the dude from
I
a
found
forum?
it. I found him on a Cubase forum.
Oh, man.
that
By the way, nobody in that entire forum has ever been laid before. Just want to call that out.
Well, I have, but anyway. And that's the thing, though. Like, it was just really tough. And I did come in clutch for you, though, at the last minute.
You did, Tom.
And got the song done.
He really went above and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. So I do want to give Tom his credit there. I mean, he drove to like San Diego. Was that where it was?
No, it was kind of down by like Laguna Dana Point.
I mean, that's practically San Diego.
It was far. And I went to some guys.
The whale's vagina.
And the guy's a very nice guy, and he's been a buddy of mine.
What was his name?
I can't remember it. Rick something. He's a piano player that does a bunch of bar gigs down in OC. And he's a great dude, and he helped me out immensely, and I'm thankful for that. But it was a really rough trip down there that day, and
stressful.
The fucking rain, and to try to bail out a track at the last minute that we didn't know was happening with,
But I remember, Tom, you were sending me a text and you were like, hey, I know this is fucked up, but don't worry, I got you. I'm going to go down to this dude's house and get the files recovered. And you did pull it off. That's the punch.
I was afraid I was going to get murdered, to be honest.
By me?
No, you
By the dude?
and the other dude. This was like a random like Craigslist meetup where it's like looking for friends who are into Cubase.
Misconnection, looking for innuendo.
Remember the other day in the grocery store when you farted and I smelled it? No, it was some shit like that where it was kind of weird. So
I could tell you were into Cubase.
And me and
did he also have a ponytail and shorts? I bet he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I'm the only lame-o that has that. But no, it was funny because we got through it. We figured it out.
We got through it,
and we got the song out, and that was cool. But yeah, like Christmas is a touchy subject for me because I love seeing my family. I love Thanksgiving. I love seeing friends for that and having the dinner and the whole 9 yards. And I love talking and community and hanging out with each other. The one thing I fucking hate though is that all year long, I'm doing okay. Making the money, paying the bills, everything's on a schedule. People are in the studio. People, you know what I mean? And then we get to this month, basically end of November into end of December, and everybody's moving stuff around. And shit, I got to be in Boston for something on fucking this Tuesday, and I won't be back. And then all the schedules start shifting. Everything starts getting murky. And there's big holes where it's like the day before Thanksgiving to the day after Thanksgiving, we can't do shit. You know what I mean?
Is it the temporal complexity and instability that's causing you?
Yeah, it causes me strife. Like, because when I know I have every day to do something, that's awesome. But the fact that there's a 3-day break over Thanksgiving, a 3-day break over Christmas, and a 3-day break, pretty much there's New Year's Eve, there's New Year's, and there's like hangover day. It's just all awesome.
Well, it is a challenging time for all the reasons you've said. And, something else that's interesting, I've seen even some memes about this, the concept of redemption, right? I'm going to see my crazy uncle at Thanksgiving and we have a grudge or whatever, we have some beef. Let's try to air it out and solve it here. Or let's do it at Christmas. I mean, I think in general, guys, it's probably not the best idea.
No, like shut the fuck up and get along with your family. Like, here's the thing. Yes, there's topics people don't have to talk about, right? Politics, religion, fucking whatever, that you're going to bring up at the Thanksgiving table or the Christmas dinner table or the New Year's party, where you should not broach these topics with people as to cause chaos and dissent within the ranks here with the family, right? You have to just go there and suck it up and talk about different shit. Talk about your favorite movie of the year. Talk about a song you worked on. Talk about some other shit. Just don't focus on that stuff. If you're going to like ignite, MAGA grandpa, that's a bad idea, right? Like,
so your advice is basically steer clear of the landmines, stay on even terrain.
Yeah, and there's other shit to talk about. And you can find common ground with any person.
That is true.
If you're looking hard enough. But if you're just going to be a fucking asshole and go to Christmas dinner and be like, so, hey, I think this new Trump policy about tariffs, and you're going to just get a bunch of blowback and a bunch of problems, like, that's going to cause contention. That's going to make it a miserable experience. It's not always a great experience if everyone agrees either, though. That's the whole thing. Like, there's still drama. There's still relationship and stuff to deal with on top of that, you know? There's a lot of issues. So that's all I'm saying.
So our policy, our official policy here at TC and the Wolf is...
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
And talk about normal shit.
Avoid landmines. Avoid the obvious pitfalls. Focus on positivity if you can.
Yeah, let's talk about something great, like the new Sabrina Carpenter Christmas song or something like that. Focus on different things. Focus on a film you saw. Focus on a team that excelled this year, like the Dodgers winning. Like, you can talk about a lot of shit that isn't
I do
divisive.
find in general, and this is something that you can read in the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Great book, by the way.
I don't read, so okay.
But basically, you can just ask leading questions to friends and family. What have you been working on lately? What's interesting to you? What's exciting you for the new year? Mm-hmm. Those are great conversation starters, and they don't have to end in an incendiary fucking burn down.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like people go to events like that willing and ready to engage in Mortal Kombat.
This is what I'm saying. Like, people actually have agendas.
Yeah.
At Christmas, I'm talking to Uncle Bob. At fucking Thanksgiving, I'm talking to Aunt Kathy. And we're going to get to the bottom of X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah, that's the wrong approach.
You add alcohol to it. Mm-hmm. You add a lot of emotions, heightened emotions, right?
Well, let me just say this. If you're drinking alcohol at a family event...
I would never.
But if you're acting out of character... then you shouldn't be drinking alcohol at a family event. What it should only lead to is happiness and being chilled out. If it's triggering you and bringing you down the anti-MAGA, pro-lib, whatever road, like, stay away from it and be responsible for your behavior, because you get to choose how that happens. And that's what's fucked, is that people, I just had a couple beers and then he started talking shit. Well, we don't have to respond to this Trump talk or whatever's going on. You know what I mean?
You know, it does remind me of like my grandmother on my mother's side. Her name was Helen. Uh-huh. Rest in peace. Beautiful lady. She died at like 99.99. She died like 3 days before her 100th birthday.
That
True
sucks.
story.
You kind of want to make it to the goalpost.
I wanted her to make it, bro. Like, literally, because I was in LA at that time, okay? And they had set up a 100th birthday party, but she was in and out of some illnesses, right? She actually broke both hips at different times, had surgery, and came back. She was a tough lady, dude. Mm-hmm. By the way, she gave birth to like 12 or 13 fucking kids. Like, raised them in a tiny, like...
Wow, that's like, beat up. 12, 13 kids. Jesus Christ.
Don't talk about my grandma, Tom. They had a tiny house in a
She
little
had a good
town
time, I'm not saying.
But, like, I'm really impressed by her resilience, her ability to weather, like, inconceivable storms, et cetera, et cetera. But, so we basically create a 100th birthday party. I was going to fly back. I bought the plane ticket to be there because this is a monumental occasion.
Fuck yeah, it's the centennial.
And just a few days before I was set to fly for this party, she passed, which is a bummer. So the birthday party became a funeral, which on the pro side, everyone already had the date cleared for the fucking birthday party.
So we put the fun in funeral that day.
We did, and I got to catch up with a lot of family members. But the reason I bring up my grandma is because you'd go to these functions, right?
Yeah.
She is from a different generation. She pulled no punches. She did not give a fuck. And especially as you get older and older, you give less of a fuck. I think you can identify with that.
I give zero fucks.
You'd walk in, my grandma would be like, Nicholas, did you get another tattoo? What's wrong with you? What are you thinking? Why do you have that nose ring? Or like another family member would come in, wow, you've gained a bit of weight, haven't you? You know, and that is kindling for fireworks.
You know what's fucked up to me is that I've been in LA now. We're coming up on my 25-year anniversary for being in LA. And I laugh because when people notice like your nose ring, if you asked me if you had a nose ring, I don't know.
You wouldn't even know?
I don't even like it, or what tattoos you have. Like, I assume you probably have a Misfits tattoo or something like that.
Fucking pay attention.
But no, like, I really don't. I see so much decoration on everything that I like try to go to the core of the person and find out who they are and speak with them, as opposed to establishing some visual idea about who they are. Do you know
You
what I mean?
heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Tom doesn't see mods, he just sees people.
No, I don't. And that's the thing. Like, even like, I went over to Lynn's apartment, one of the singers I work with, Lynn. I went over to her place the other day, and she was like, "Did you notice all the Christmas decorating I did?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." I was
Have
like,
you had your eyes checked recently?
No, it's just, that's not on my list. As you can see by how I keep things are very simple and minimal. And if it's beyond
this.
that, well, yeah, but that all that is back there, guys, is just gifts my friends have brought to me over the years. So that's a totem to everyone who works here and drops shit off for me to use for time and eternity, and brings me toys and understands what brings me joy. But that's really all that I have in my house. That's a fucking mess. You know what I mean? So I used to have an entire wall of toys, if you recall, at my old house. I had like a warehouse of toys in my living room. But yeah, no, largely myself, I am a simple person. And for me to notice stuff like Christmas decorations, I just go over and don't see it. I don't see the tattoos. I just assume that everyone I know is sleeved up and has it up to, unless it's like on your eyes and it's like distracting and it's like in my face the whole time. I don't really notice it because I have 2,000 friends that are all covered head to toe in tattoos, piercings, and fucking.
I mean, that is true. The more common something is, the less noticeable it is. That's fair.
Yeah, no, that's.
But let's bring it back around to the holiday season, because I think this is an important topic. So,
well, we need to get back to the comments.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we got to
Jesus
get back.
Christ.
We got to get back to that. So we had some. I feel bad blowback on Facebook this week.
Oh,
right?
I didn't call it bad. I mean, basically, I posted. We post our podcast on Spotify, just the full length audio.
Mm-hmm.
We post the full length video on YouTube. Typically, we're a little behind, but we're going to catch up. And then we put clips on Instagram. Very normal for a podcast, right? And I took one of the recent clips of Tom and I put it on Facebook. I basically put the caption as like, Tom's going to rail a bit about Legacy X, who should hang it up, which is what we discussed. And we got a pretty good amount of engagement. And what I'm happy about is people are expressing themselves. They're being honest. They're being real. And it's fostering some good conversation. And I think we as a country need to allow more open disagreements and debate without it turning into a total cluster, without people getting physically violent.
Oh yeah, and anyone can have any opinion they want. I don't care. I'm just here on this show to give my opinion and my perspective. So if you disagree with that, that's fine.
It's okay.
But when people get into keywords because they're triggered and things like that, to me, that's when I start like having feelings about it, because somebody legitimately called me a misogynist, which I don't think could be the furthest thing from the truth.
Maybe you should paint the story, the context.
Well, you can get into it because you.
Okay, all right.
You have,
Yeah, so I have a friend from back home in Ohio, Amanda Wakeman. Shout out to Amanda. Great person, beautiful person. I have no issues, no beef whatsoever. She happened to see the clip. She had some feedback, among other people. She's not the only one. But Tom was talking about how Rush has hired a new drummer. They're going back on tour. And I think the punchline or the summary of what you were trying to say was, I don't think Rush should be touring. Neil Peart is dead. The other guys can't quite hit the marks they used to hit in terms of quality. So why not hang it up? And
you have enough fucking money. That's what I was saying.
That's true. They're very well endowed financially now. So I think the point is, why go out there and do it and give a subpar product? Along the way, you use some language along the lines of, I'm okay with the lady drummer out there doing it with them, something like that. And you actually said, she's a great drummer. I have no problem with the girl. But the language that you used, I think, then got construed as misogyny, basically, right? And it was taken as if like you were cutting her, like it's like the kind of thing where people say you play pretty good for a girl, which I know is not what you meant.
That's not what I meant at all.
But I think that's how it got perceived by a few people. And again, I'm just thankful for
and basically I said the lady comment because her name is difficult to remember. And us 3 shots in when we're doing a fucking podcast, like I did not have the recall to come up with her name and gather it. And I know she's not like a kid. She's not an 18-year-old or something like that. So I said the lady who plays drums for them, which I felt like was a woman, I guess I could have said. Maybe that's a better term. But I'm all about girls doing their own thing, empowered females making music. Like,
And we have evidence of
We
that.
have evidence. I mean, 70% of the people I work for are females that are trying to make a statement in rock music or
There's
in
a lot
pop
of
music.
empowering songs, empowering messages.
And stuff that's about taking out the patriarchy, the whole fucking 9 yards. Like, and I support anybody's political message and anybody's art where they're being creative and using art and music to be constructive and comment on the culture. So that doesn't matter what sex or gender or fucking whatever anyone else is. I'm here to support my acts and the people that I work for that employ me to make better music and more convincing art. And there's stuff that people say all the time in music that I don't necessarily agree with every word of, but I enjoy the process. I enjoy music. I enjoy them having their say and saying whatever they want and being empowered and speaking their truth. That's what I do. So
I think that is the role of a producer, generally speaking, right? Is to help someone's voice come to life with the best musical treatment and the most authentic emotion. And I mean, generally speaking, I think you would work with literally just about anyone who's doing, decent music and wants to uplift their music.
and wants to get good judgments about the quality and about the consistency. Objective. And I've had to be brutal to you before, like just about vocal performance things.
That was personal. That wasn't musical.
It was an attack.
You're just an asshole.
It was just
Tom.
a fucking attack. No, but like literally, like I have to be, my job is to be critical and to be the voice of the internet. And when you put something up, what the fuck is some asshole going to say about it? I'm that asshole prior to it going to the internet.
It is good to have that pre-screen, that filter. It's better to learn about it in production versus once it's live. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if I tell somebody, hey, I think that vocal was out of tune, I think that drum part was out of time or whatever, it's better that you know now before you put it up on YouTube and see 600 comments about, wow, this motherfucker sucks at singing. Wow, this chick's bad at drums. Like, whatever. Like, we don't want to hear any of that. We want to clean up those things in the process of making the music.
Wow, this non-binary person's fiddle work is a little rough.
This non-binary Are there any non-binary fiddle players? I wonder.
Well, now we're just getting into the swamp
I
again.
mean, violin players that are
It was just
trans
a joke.
or I don't know. I don't think
Everyone is welcome on our podcast. Every voice is welcome, even dissent, even disagreement. And in terms of working with musicians, Tom, you've worked with just every kind of person.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, Tom only makes satanic black metal. I do not. I make some satanic black metal. I also work for contemporary Christian artists and Mormon artists, and I work for people.
Why did you point at me?
No, well, I was doing this fucking thing. I'm trying to animate this because Eric Kluber told me that I'm not moving enough and being on the
Shout
mic
out to
enough.
Kluber.
Shout out to Stabbing Kluber. We love him. But no, like literally, that's what I'm talking about, is that like I work for gospel, I work for country, I work for death metal, I work for anybody that will have me listen and comment and make their music better. So
Yeah.
So whatever. If your friend wants to come in and talk to me about it and learn about my
I would
life,
love to have Amanda on the
and
podcast.
I'd love Amanda to like look at the actual evidence and maybe listen to the whole fucking podcast so she gets a clue about it.
So a few more thoughts, right? And by the way, you and I are aligned. Everyone's welcome, and that's great. The interesting thing is, this is part of the problem with the internet forum commenting society that we've kind of developed, right? It's a little bit of a plague on our society because on one hand, you have access to all this information at the speed of light, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it's often misused, abused, or used for things that are not that valuable. But you get these kind of armchair quarterbacks, so to speak, and they're, 3,000 miles away. They look at something out of context and they want to drop a comment that might be incendiary in its own right, or whatever. But it just gives people the ability to judge, to fly off the handle, to come to conclusions without the full information. And this is by no means a slight on anybody who's commented on our stuff. We love it. We want you to keep being honest.
I want you
It's
to
great.
engage with it, but like let's avoid, saying somebody something which they're not, which I feel like we've gotten into the weeds in our culture far with that, with like, we're calling everything racism. We're calling everything sexism and misogyny. We're calling everything we can find that we don't agree with or feel uncomfortable with that. And to me, that's a misnomer. There's nuance and subtlety to all types of speech.
Sometimes it's a misnomer.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes it's accurate.
Sometimes
It's accurate.
Sometimes
you know what I mean?
it's accurate.
Sometimes it's accurate. But what
Got to call a spade a spade. No, I can't say that. Actually, you know what I found out?
Spade is a bad thing to say. Period.
Yeah, I actually had a very senior technology executive use that phrase with me one time, and then a few weeks later he came to me and says, "I shouldn't have said that. That's actually a bad thing." And I said, "Really? I had no idea." He's like, "I didn't either." I'm not going to go into it any further.
No, historically, it could be construed as a comment on something else. Yes, I understand.
So we're going to just move on from there.
Yeah,
but I love everybody of every flavor. Tom does too. Mm-hmm. We want everyone to make great music, and we want everyone's voice to be heard, and that's really it. But coming back to the Amanda point, she's a super cool chick. She is the daughter of Rick Wakeman, who is one of the original Yes members. And I think her brother played in Black Sabbath, and she's well connected.
And he subbed in Yes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I
cool.
also said, if Amanda would have listened to the podcast, that I wanted, if someone was going to represent a person that was dead, okay? If Julian Lennon came into the Beatles and sang for John Lennon, that's fine because he's 50% of the DNA of the person that's gone. Or if Jason Bonham chooses to play some shows with Led Zeppelin, and they call it Led Zeppelin for 1 or 2 shows, that's fine. What I was talking about is full-scale fucking tours where you're taking a big paycheck, and you're basically what Kiss and fucking everybody else has been doing for a long time, which I feel is bad. I don't feel like we should be seeing Motley Crue without Mick Mars. He's done. He's expired. He's the person that wrote a million riffs and contributed great riffs. And made some of the best music of the 80s for that period. You know what I mean? So
just playing devil's advocate. Let's imagine, hypothetically, you're Paul Stanley, right? And you have this great career, legacy, made a bunch of money, some hit records, all that good shit, right? And then you have a huge dispute with, let's say, Ace Frehley, hypothetically, right? And you and your partner, Gene, decide, hey, we got to get Ace out of here because he's whatever. He's a drunk, he's a drug addict, or we just don't get along, whatever the reason be. Should you shut down Kiss and get rid of your livelihood at that point?
I think if you've made enough money, and that's different for everybody what that fucking number is. I could say most people are probably good at like 20, 30 fucking $1 million. You know what I mean? To where we could say this is not the same. And also, conversely, Eddie Van Halen's son and Paul Stanley's son have no interest in doing anything with that name because they don't need to. So Evan Stanley's in a very good band with one of our friends, right? And
Kyle Hughes, shout out to Kyle.
And they're fantastic, and he's doing his own thing. It's fucking awesome. Wolf is doing his own thing.
I mean, if Evan was like, hey, I'm going to get into Kiss, I mean, that would be crazy, frankly.
Yeah, it would, but I don't think he'd do it.
But we gotta compare apples to apples, though, right? So my example is, you're Paul, you have a guitar player who's fucking up, and you swap him out and you keep touring. Do you think that's okay?
I kind of don't. Here's why. Here's why. It depends on if the person, like Ace Frehley is someone who is iconic. Whether he played everything or not is up for debate, all that kind of shit. But literally, like, he's the reason why some people play guitar. He's the reason, like when people were like, Neil Peart wasn't the first drummer of fucking Rush. Yes, but he was the person that defined Rush, okay? And the stuff that people still give a fuck about and listen to is music he was fucking involved in, okay? And also, like, I wasn't even down with when they replaced Adler and fucking Guns N' Roses, to be honest. Like, it was always a step down. It had less sluttiness. It had less direct drive and less punk feel to it.
I agree with that.
And so here we have Appetite for Destruction, one of the fucking greatest records of all time, followed by Lies, another one of the greatest records of all time, followed by some shit that Matt Sorum played on that's kind of fucking not that great, and then followed by like a bunch of other stuff that followed that was terrible because we traded out too many people. Guns N' Roses just barely got back into like the realm with Duff and Slash and everybody returning. Think about, we were calling something with fucking Buckethead and Brian from fucking Primus, Guns N' Roses. I mean, and a guy that used to be in fucking Nine Inch Nails. This has nothing to do with what we were sold as Guns N' Roses. And I feel like that's the issue, that when we stray too far, Ace Frehley is iconic. And if Ace says he don't want to do it, then we replace him. That's fine. And also, if it's like in the first couple years of a band, like with Rush, they made one fucking record, Fly By Night or whatever. It was kind of mid. It was kind of Zeppelin-y. Working Man's a cool song. You know what I mean? It was all right. But when Neil Peart came in, the entire dynamic of the band changed, and it was early on. And back then, fucking, they probably got $10,000 to do the first fucking record. You know what I mean? The next ones, the budgets were crazy, and that's what made an impact culturally. Like, another good example, one of my favorite bands ever, the first 2 records of the fucking Mars Volta. When you get rid of John Theodore, one of the fucking greatest drummers who's ever picked up a fucking pair of sticks in this world, and replace him with a bunch of other guys that kind of shred, play gospel chops and shit over it. Like, that's not the same fucking thing. I'm not seeing fucking the Mars Volta anymore. And that's upsetting because that's part of the sound. Those 4 people, like, that's why I have massive respect for Aerosmith, for fucking the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's been the same fucking guy since day one.
Well, splitting hairs, but Chili Peppers, it was Hillel. Hillel died. They kept going.
But that was
and then
early,
they made a
that was
whole
early.
new-
That was early
They
on.
had 3 albums with Hillel.
They did, but none of them were like culturally relevant. I mean, Californication to fucking Blood Sugar Sex Magic, like that whole fucking realm right there is the heap that everyone knows. People know Red Hot Chili Peppers.
but see, well, 2 things.
Name a song on
Two-
Mother's Milk. I have no fucking idea.
Higher Ground.
Which is a cover of a Stevie Wonder song, which is not their song.
I love Mother's Milk. It is a great, great album. And by the way, they had a different drummer then too. So they had Anthony and Flea, and then they had swapped out the other 2 guys. That's a big change, actually.
That's a big change.
So technically, based on your rubric, that would be
no,
incorrect.
because I feel
think.
that way about Iron Maiden. I feel like the real classic era of Iron Maiden is when Bruce got in the fucking band. So from Number on the Beast, Peace of Mind, when that stuff started popping off, like the stuff before that was more punk rock, and I still like Paul Di'Anno, but it's not the stuff people still listen to.
Well, by the way, we should have the Chili Peppers conversation in more detail, and we should have Gabe Mosca on the podcast.
Because Gabe knows everything about it.
He will set you on fire for saying what you said about the early records. But
I just don't think it holds up. I mean,
Yeah.
and
but here's the little bit of a challenge is it's like pretty subjective. Like you're making a lot of small judgment calls. So it's like if we really wanted to make this a thing, which we're not, but if we did, you'd have to have some sort of like structure or policies that say if you lose more than 50% of the original members, you got to hang it up or something like that. Or if the new version of your band sells more records than ever before, maybe that's okay. Like there's a lot of subjectivity interlaced into this. That's all I'm saying.
I just look at it like I said. I was building everything I said before off the Beatles model, off the Zeppelin model, which means if the motherfuckers that everyone was listening to and made this band what it is go, you have to have dignity and respect. And like, here's the thing. Why the fuck is Pantera touring without Vinny and Dime? Okay? Vinny
They're
and
dead.
Dime, the people who started the
Rest in
band,
peace.
have no say. And that's disgraceful.
That's true.
Okay? That's what I'm
true.
saying. Neil is fucking dead. He didn't have an opinion.
Well, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Like, where do you draw the line? You know, because like if Zeppelin came out with 3 dudes and Jason Bonham on the drums, is that okay?
Yes, for a couple shows. It's
for a
not.
couple shows.
It's
Okay.
not. It's not okay.
But not like a bunch of tours.
It's
and
not
shit.
okay to have a new record, a new fucking tour, and a bunch of T-shirts you're selling called fucking Rush.
I do agree they should not have a new album with like Jason Bonham on the drums. Totally agree.
No, I mean, and
But
if
they
you-
didn't.
if
They
you-
didn't.
If you go to do something like that, what would have been rad for the Rush thing was like get some guys that are big fans of Neil Peart, put on a night with Rush and guests, right? Have Miles Kennedy sing it. Have Thomas Lang play drums. Have Mike Portnoy and Danny Carey play drums. Have a real show that's a tribute to somebody who's dead. Don't hire a motherfucker to play keyboards and background guitars and shit like that and sing all the background vocals because Geddy can't sing the high parts anymore. And then get a new drummer that's from the internet largely, doesn't have a band, doesn't have a legacy, is not necessarily in the same demographic or scene as Neil Peart. Do you see what I'm saying? Like Thomas Lang plays the most like Neil Peart. The most. He's the most tight, structured, thinking forward, technical drummer that I can think of to replace that. But there's a lot of guys like Luke Holland. There's a bunch of dudes that could do this. That would be a fantastic. Danny is a fantastic tribute to Neil. That's all I'm saying. Is that like it has to be if
So
you're
basically make it a different thing.
yes, make it
Make
a
it a
night of
tribute
rush
sort of thing.
yes, and then I'm fine with it because we're
But they
not
can't
calling,
tour like that.
No, do a show in Boston, do a show in Miami, do a show in fucking Washington, do a show in New York, and do one in fucking LA, and have everybody show up to that, hit the market.
Geddy and Alex Lifeson are original members, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, by the way, I'm glad we clarified some of these things. And definitely, Tom, you were very supportive of women in music, 100%.
Yeah, no,
so that's cool.
Always. I actually went to the Lilith Fair the first year.
You did.
I did. I went there, and I wore a Danzig T-shirt, and everyone gave me shit the entire time.
You deserve it.
I deserved it. No, I really did. I wore like a Danzig 1 T-shirt, first record.
But also, I want to do a quick shout out to Mikey Lopez, who is in Red Star. He also was commenting, and he's a smart guy and a great musician and very, well-intentioned with his opinions. I mean, he actually disagreed with what we were saying too, which is totally fine again. Mm-hmm. But I think his point of view is like, if you are a portion of the original band, and you happen to get struck with a blow that, the drummer died or something, or you had to remove somebody, like, why give up your whole career? Why stop giving the fans joy over something like that? But it is a fine line. I think if we were to ask people, give like 50 scenarios,
I'm just saying,
different
when
stuff.
you're going on for 30 and 40 years after key members have been gone, that's my fucking issue with it. Okay. Like, all right, so Ace had a bad drinking and cocaine problem in Kiss, right? Surprise. Like, that fucker had a problem. No, but like literally at that point, it's like, okay, he's the problem. We need to fix this. We're still mid-career. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can understand that. It's not like Rush has been done for a couple years. Do you see? Motley Crue signed a contract in fucking blood to never play again.
That is fucking.
After 25th
I went to one of the
team.
last shows. I went to it.
Yeah,
and then they lied to me, bro.
Yeah, and you should have had a class action lawsuit because you were sold that they signed in their own flesh and blood that they couldn't do that show again, dude.
Actually, we probably should put together a lawsuit against Motley. That's a good takeaway.
Someone had a lawsuit against Scott Stapp for being too drunk before. Did you know about that?
No.
So Scott Stapp played the show where he was like nuked, just alcoholic, fueled rage, bad pitch, falling down, couldn't make it through the show. The quality was so bad, they got sued, and the people who sued won, which is now why, if you guys wonder why there's a lot of lip syncing, that's why. Because they'd rather have you hear the song and not be disappointed than sue the record label and Scott Stapp for a lackluster performance, because that's what went on. He literally played like shit in like fucking 2002 or something. Got sued.
I have heard quite a few Scott Stapp stories. I think he got way out there, bro.
Yeah. I mean, he had some problems.
Good for him.
That video that was circulating of him and Kid Rock on the bus for a while.
Exactly.
A lot of coke and a lot of hoes, bro.
Oh, man. But anyways, I'm glad that we touched on our kind of viewpoint on feedback. Mm-hmm. We want it, bring it. All views are welcome. Just don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, and also, please, if you're going to make a comment, know that the clips are out of context, as many clips are on the internet.
This is very important.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of clips on the internet where it's like, oh, guess what the president said? He said this. Yes, he said that with 30 seconds of shit following up to that went the opposite direction and was making a point or a joke. There's stuff that happens like that. Do you know what I mean?
I guess that's the point, right? If you see one of our clips and you don't like it, that's fine. But it would behoove you and us to go listen to the long form, the part before that and the part after that, and see if it has any effect on your views.
Yeah, and also, like, understand, I guess a lot of people don't know me, and that's fine. But where I'm coming from is a point of supporting and enjoying and being a part of local music in LA. And that's where I've always been. I'm here to support people. I'm here to give people a voice. I'm here to refine that voice and make it better. And that's what I do for a job every day. So to not understand that about me and say I'm a misogynist is tough for me. And that hurts because I do a million things with a million different, females, women, all the time that I love and respect, that are like family to me and family to this whole fucking community we have going on.
And they also help you to be better too.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's a give and take.
It is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, to, look at what the person's putting in. I mean, it's like when people give somebody that runs a corporation shit for paying less taxes. Okay. It's like, okay, well, he doesn't pay enough tax. Okay. Well, he's paying more than all of you are. So what's the point? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, to look at the number, it's like paying $25 million is more than somebody who works a job that's making $50,000. Correct. I mean,
I think it is a very misunderstood situation, generally speaking. And I'm not here to defend unbridled capitalism, although I like money too.
No, I understand. We all do.
But you look at like an Elon Musk, let's say, we're not going into his views or anything like that, but
no, and I don't support him.
The richest man in the richest person in the world. And people have gone after him about the tax issue, but he can rightfully say, hey, last year I paid more tax than literally everybody.
He probably paid more than some states.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's a lot.
To be fair, though,
lot.
it's a different structure when you have a corporation. You have most of your assets in stocks, RSUs, et cetera.
I agree with you about that. Yeah. I mean, that's.
And so it's a little bit complicated.
I don't think they should be fucking playing games either. But like, when we're talking about numbers and we're talking about quotes and being out of context or whatever, we have to look at the context for everything. So if you're paying $300 million in taxes, let's say, right? You're paying a shitload of taxes. That's not paying no taxes.
I think one of the concepts too is like, what is the proportion, right? So like Warren Buffett, who is a brilliant guy, seems like a sweet person from what I've seen, and one of the richest people in the world, he pays a very low tax rate because he owns corporations. They use the business tax structure. Most of his assets are not actually in like his bank account. So it's a different set of principles, rules. It's a different game that they're playing. I guess to your point though, before people make a judgment, they should educate themselves on how those structures work. And I've had to do that myself. If you were to ask me, Nick, would you like to pay less taxes? The answer is unequivocally.
But here's the thing. Everybody in the position would do the same thing.
Excellent point.
As long as they're according to the laws.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're talking about keeping everything above board and legal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people, some people don't keep shit above board or legal. I mean, for real.
That's a problem.
So who's at fault? Like, we have to really put things into context and look at the nuance. What I'm talking about here, people, is nuance.
Nuance.
Is about what's the law, what's the structure, what before we go off
what's the context
and judge it, it's the context of the situation, and that's what we're trying to clear up today. And like I said, I am not an Elon Musk fan. I don't give a fuck about Elon Musk.
What about that tattoo on your ass? What is that about?
it's just a Tesla super truck or whatever the fuck it's called.
Cybertruck on your ass.
Cybertruck on my ass. Cybertrucks, when they came out, this is really funny because there's a certain type of dude that loves the Cybertruck, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So
probably.
So there's a Korean guy about like 7 houses from here. He has 2 Cybertrucks.
2. Baller.
Baller. And
does he have like a nice house or is it a shitty house?
It's kind of a shitty house.
This is a different funny thing. And apologies to the folks at home. We've been doing a bit of non sequitur action here. But I do love to see that. You'll see like someone with like a nice Porsche, and then you end up finding out later they have like a tiny little house. It's like, guys, that's not
or an
really
apartment, like a studio in Van Nuys.
Studio apartment, but they've got like a C300 Benz. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
No. So this guy has 2 Cybertrucks, and every day
and a shitty house.
And every time I see this guy, he's in his yard. He's on the phone. He's smoking. He's fucking mad.
What is he smoking? Just cigs?
Just cigs. He's out there smoking cigs. It's kind of like probably like a 38-year-old Korean fellow. He's out there and he's looking pissed. He's on the phone. He's yelling at people all the time. And I walk by him like every day at the same time, probably about 9 a.m.
When you're going on your hikes.
When I go on a hike in the morning, yeah. So I walk by him and I started going by him. I'm like, I'm going to make friends with this guy.
That's the spirit.
So no, I went over there and he's a neighbor. You know what I mean? He's a neighbor. He's somebody close by. So I saw him and I was like, he was on the phone one day. He's just out there smoking. And I went, dude, sick trucks. Tell me about these trucks. And he's like, oh, dude.
That's how to win friends and influence people.
And he came, and this guy was so legitimately excited about them and about everything, all the mods he had done.
I'm sorry to distract you from your story or your point, but that's what I was saying earlier. Take an interest in people. They love that.
No, and Turns out, dude's kind of a fucking cool guy. And he maybe has bad taste in trucks. Like, I don't really think that's a truck. But
what I want to know why too.
Yeah, but no.
Do you know why?
No, he just showed me all the stuff that he liked about it and how it's integrated into his phone and into like the softwares and everything else like that and what it does for him and where all the storage is. And he broke it down for me. And I talked to this guy for like 10 minutes one day. And it was pretty rad because you know how like when you're not into
What's
something.
His name?
I think his name's Ken. I don't remember.
Shout out to Ken.
This was like 5 months ago. But he literally like went into all these details, which is like if I asked you what you like about a Strat versus a Les Paul,
right.
and you got into the fine details, and somebody was just sitting here with us, they'd be like, wow, that guy knows a lot about that, and he really fucking gives a fuck. This must be some cool shit. You know what I mean? Like you start to get an appreciation when you hear somebody talk about something that they love and appreciate that you didn't have before.
So you appreciate the Cybertruck more now, and you appreciate Ken more.
Yeah, I just think he's a guy with a very specific interest, and it was cool. And like, I wanted to like make that when I waved to him when I walked by, I wanted him to be like, "Hey, dude, that's Tom over there, fucking coming up through the neighborhood again." You know what I mean? Like, I was looking to just make a friend and brighten that guy's day.
Back where I come from, we call that broing down.
That's what I was doing, I was broing down with the Cybertruck guy, and he's a cool dude. Like I said, he's nice, and he was.
Did he
so
give you
excited.
like a headline as to why he bought them or why he likes them?
He just thought they looked sick and like they're in RoboCop and shit. Like he enjoys the futuristic look. He likes that like. And there's a group of people like this. Okay, a lot of the MAGA people are like this too. They like the fact when people get upset. They like to see people be uncomfortable,
get a rise out of people,
and just like other people like to see people get upset about. I mean, a gay pride parade or something like that. There's a group of people that gets excited that the other side or whoever they don't agree with is fucking angry. And what I'm trying to say is, let's stop being angry.
It's not productive,
and let's try to understand what they like about it. Other than just someone being fucking mad. Do you know what I mean? And I'm mad a lot, to be honest, but that's what I'm saying. Like, just try to figure out, like, what is the good.
I think we could use less anger and more joy.
Absolutely. I mean, we need people to, like, everybody needs to relax, dude. I wish more people smoked weed and drank booze as often as we all do. And enjoyed their life a little bit more and enjoyed others a little more.
Well, I agree. But it's easier said than done, right? I mean, we live in a very complex, chaotic, turbulent world. I mean, look, I'm a pretty laid back dude in general, which is good. And I encounter a lot of people who are very high strung all the time. And I really do try to, where I can, help lead people to some sort of peace. And I'm not saying I'm Gandhi or Jesus or anything.
You're pretty far from fucking Gandhi or Jesus, bro.
How dare you? I'm the second coming, emphasis on coming. But you know, it is a hard life. Nobody really has an easy life. And really, do you really want an easy life?
That's something that's something that's interesting that you just said, right? Until you're living someone else's life, you don't understand the nuance about what's difficult with that. So yeah. I have a lot of friends that make, like yourself and others, that make infinitely more money than I do, right? And they explain to me a whole myriad of issues that I've never even thought of before because I haven't come across them. Do you see what I'm saying? And once you're in there and you're living it, like I have a bunch of friends that like make in excess of maybe $300,000 a year or whatever. Their life, you could say, oh, arguably, like their life is better than mine. Maybe not, depending on what you're...
Maybe in some ways, maybe worse in other ways.
Maybe worse in other ways. Maybe you're responsible for more. Maybe you have more shit to pay for. Maybe you've got 4 fucking kids or something.
I'd like to quote Biggie Smalls right now.
Mo money,
mo problems.
That's right. No, that's...
I mean, it is actually very, very true.
Yeah, because it is a different dynamic as you move up through. And sometimes I'm just happy, dude, to keep my life simple, like, to be honest. And my life is fucking simple. To anybody out there that says, you know, oh, it must be hard to be Tom. It's not. Like, honestly, there's months that I struggle. There's things like that. There's times when it's hard to
listen to your own self, my brother.
I do, but here's the thing. It's a joy to do what I do every day. It's a joy to get to talk to everybody. It's a joy to get to spend time with my musicians and in the studio and working.
Tom really loves spending time with me, obviously.
Obviously, we're totally gay for each other at this point. It's terrible. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like that I like it to be simple. I like it to be easy. I like to just work and put out good music and good music products and make people happy and spread joy. And that's what I'm trying to do every day. And if it ever gets harder than that, I kind of don't want to do it. And I've pulled out of situations that have been more chaos and more trouble than they're worth because I just don't want to do it that way. I don't want to live that way. I mean, possibly if there was more money and there was more clout and more everything else like that, yes, would should be better. Yes, maybe. But I don't know. We haven't been there yet. Until you've walked in somebody's shoes and seen what it looks like, I don't know. Maybe every day that the richest person, maybe Jeff Bezos gets up and is like, wow, what a shitty fucking day. It's possible.
I think he's enjoying his life immensely, but he has a huge portfolio of problems to deal with.
Yeah.
The good thing, though, more money means more support, more team members, more outsourcing abilities. You know, like that guy doesn't pay for cleaning his house, doing his laundry, mowing his lawn, like any of that, right?
Well, he pays for it.
He pays for it,
He just doesn't do it.
He's got assistants, which is mostly probably great, but also has some cons. So, I mean, you know, like I was just listening to the Billy Bob Thornton podcast on Joe Rogan the other day, and pretty cool dude. I mean, I didn't know that much about him. I thought he was like kind of cool, but now I'm more endeared to his story, which is cool. But he actually speaks in there a little bit about, because he's so successful, he has a publicist, an assistant, and da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, you know, I've kind of become a little bit helpless because people walk me through the airport. People do the laundry. People pick me up from her. He's like, I ask my wife to drive me everywhere, even though he likes muscle cars and he used to drive professionally and all this stuff. He's like, I kind of don't drive now. He's like, I've sort of fallen into a state of helplessness because this is what my money has afforded me. That has cons. That has cons.
It does have cons. And honestly, like I feel a little bit of that myself too, because we have a whole team that we work with Elite Recordings and such.
An elite team.
Yeah. And I lean into other people to help me, to help produce music, to do electronic programming, to do vocal coaching. There's a whole group of people when you work with me that are my friends that deeply support and do some shit that I could never do, never focus on, and never spend any time on.
But the core principle there and why that's important is for scale. If you were the only guy, you would be the bottleneck and you couldn't do 15 projects at once.
Exactly. And when I was the only guy, you saw how miserable of a person I was. Like when I had to do everything all the time.
I would say you're at least 20% more miserable than you are right now.
20%, only 20%. I feel like it was like 100%, but
I mean, I don't know how miserable a person can be. What's the scale?
I feel like I was 100% more miserable.
No, but you know, you've come a long way in a variety of different aspects. But yes, you have a great team around you. And I've also found, like in terms of Oceans on Other Planets, the project is only a couple years old and we've managed to do some very cool stuff pretty quickly. And I would attribute a lot of that to having a good team around. You know, people helping with social stuff, with production like yourself, with promotions, booking,
advertising,
scaling out. It's a business. You have to ultimately scale the business.
Yeah, no, it's weird. So few people want to talk about this, but like music, if to gain any notoriety or any kind of market share with it, is a huge fucking amount of money and a huge amount of effort and responsibility. I think people feel like, oh, you just end up on Sony and shit's fucking great. No, there's a lot of work that has to go in before that.
Tom, I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but I think we should save the music economics for another episode because that's a deep topic. And I want to hear the whole spiel.
But I'm just saying, I feel like that's something that people don't realize. They're like, oh, and it all just looks like it's going fucking great.
I mean, I can tell you, when I picked up a guitar and started being able to play a few songs and started to make a few of my own songs, I definitely thought there was a world in which you just make a couple cool songs, you get it to the right people, and boom, you're off to the races. And it's really not like that. And I've learned that the hard way.
Especially not in 2025. It's not that way anymore. I mean, I feel like there was a time when that was possible and a probability, but that was like between probably like 1972 and 2000.
I mean, it was possible, but still rare.
It was still rare and infrequent.
Now it's kind of impossible for that model to happen, and even more rare. And what you really need to do is build a brand.
Well, I'm trying to think about people like back in the day, okay, let's talk about like Stevie Wonder, okay? Him not showing up to the studio but 2 hours a day and being 14 hours late and everybody waiting on him all day. And he gets there and they want to hang out and everybody wants to smoke and drink for a while before they like some dudes there working a 20-hour day. Is that a cool guy that's going to make a lot of money in 2025? I'm not sure if that's really going to happen because people care about their time. They care about their work-life balance. There's a lot more nuance.
Well, also,
to it
we
now.
don't have superstars on the level we used to. I mean, there's still a few, don't get me wrong, but, this came up in the Billy Bob thing too. It's like, there's not like Frank Sinatra of right now, really. Right?
No.
Or like take movies, right? In, let's say 1965, there were like maybe 10 or 20 legitimate movie stars. And that's it. Now you've got a fuck ton, pardon the expression, of famous people for various reasons, and social has helped with that. You know what I mean? And so I think for almost anything, the supply goes up, the value and the demand kind of goes down. The authenticity, the rarity, the uniqueness, the specialness of it goes down, you know?
Well, and I feel like that this is something too where like anyone can be famous, like say Mr. Beast or Kim Kardashian or something like that, where they're ubiquitous to culture without really being a part of media per se. Do you know what I mean? Like they're creating, but they're not like on ABC, NBC in line with
different channels of distribution.
Yeah, or Paramount. And it's not like they have songs on the radio and like they're not giving speeches at TED Talks or anything like that. You know what I mean? Where before in the culture, somebody that was substantial, like say somebody like Martin Scorsese or something like that, right? Where he made a bunch of films that people really enjoyed and it had a style and it had a tone and he built it upon this like style of art and cinema that he was trying to pull off, right? This is like a deep, big concept where Kim's largely just being Kim and enjoying the things Kim enjoys. And she was the first person on base to kind of do that. And Mr. Beast was the first one to be like, hey, let's start burger stands and like put our friends on the internet and make crazy games. And you know what I mean? Like there's a lot to it now.
It's a very different model.
It's just a different model now. But I'm just wondering, like, that's stuff that like Prince used to do. Prince used to put people through a lot of fucking hell. He used to like force people to play stuff for 1 million hours. You know what I mean? Just to like get a drum take tight enough to get the right vibe on a background vocal or a keyboard part. Like we're not talking like a couple hours. We're talking like a day to do a chorus with the background singers on something like 7. You know what I mean? Is that a cool guy anymore, or is that person like not going to work?
And there's a few things. One is the level of superstardom that he had, which equates to power and money. That's one thing. Secondly, they didn't have the digital recording technology and things to fix stuff, to do it, to modify it after the fact. So you have to perform it well, right? So all these things add up, you know what I mean? But to your point,
no, it's just it's a lot of time.
There's a con to that model too.
Yes, but I'm just saying today it's more of a lot of time, effort, and money going into music and getting it to be seen, to be heard, and there's a lot of noise on the internet. There's a lot of YouTubers and other people and influencers and things like that.
It's easier than ever to put your music out.
Yeah.
And the pro is it's easier and cheaper. The con is there's an oversaturation.
Yeah, and we've even got fake artists that are like AI Drake making shit against Drake.
That's a different episode too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People get into all this weird shit. Well, I think we're good for today for this one, Nick. What do you think?
We really meandered to and fro, left and right, up and down, all around.
Literally left and right.
But it's been real as always, Tom. And I appreciate you taking the feedback and criticism head on. And to all the people who have commented, we really do thank you. And some of you I would like to have on the show.
The engagement is great, and you having an opinion is great. I think we need to be done with the name calling. Like, let's understand people. Let's get on their level. Let's get how I was with Ken in the fucking Cybertruck.
I mean, if I want to call you a dork or a jerk, I reserve the right.
And you can, because I am both of those fucking things. All right, guys. This has been TC and the Wolf. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Please come back next week for more of this bullshit and hearing me and Nick yak. We love you. Bye.
Cheers.